So this is my Bella 8-quart Pro Series air fryer. As you can see, it's plugged in. It's dirty because I literally use it every single day for the last 4 years. But it is not registering or not giving it any power with the actual basket here now that it's closed. This morning I was using it and I went to flip my potatoes, and when I pulled it out, it stayed running. And then when I pushed it back in, it turned off, and I've had no power ever since. So I think it might have something to do with the safety switch on this, as far as knowing when the basket is actually closed. So I'm gonna go ahead, take it apart, and see if we can diagnose and fix the problem. So after closer inspection, the safety switch on this is right down here. And you can see on the back of the basket, here it has a little, like, rounded off moon-shaped looking thing that slides in and engages the actual switch. So when you push this in, the switch should register that it's now closed. These are just to hold it in place, these little metal knobs. But if you take a screwdriver to test if it's your switch or not, and you push down on it, you'll see it powers on. So now we know that our actual basket is not engaging the switch. So let's go ahead and fix it. I should note that this feels a little loose in here, and I think it's actually supposed to be a little bit firmer. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it over, and there's a bunch of Phillips head screws on the back, on the bottom here, that are really small. We're gonna take them out and physically inspect the switch. So there is 4 screws in these little black things on all corners, so 4 total. And then there's 5, 3 over here, and then 2 next to actually where it plugs in, of these little Phillips screws that you need to remove. Also, make sure you have this unplugged before you do this. Once those are loose, all you do is you just pull it up, and you're going to see that it's attached by a couple wires. It's got the twist nuts on the end. Make sure you take note of which wire goes to which one here, and we'll go ahead and get that undone. So you actually don't need to remove any of these wire nuts. You can just literally swivel the top or the bottom piece out of the way. And right here, you can see this is the actual switch mechanism that we're going to go ahead and replace. Just due to, again, I mean, I've used it 4 years in a row, every single day. So let's go ahead and replace it. So this right here is actually the switch mechanism for the basket that tells it if it's closed or open. We're going to go ahead and remove it and go ahead and buy a replacement for it. You only need to remove these 2 screws that are actually on the cover. This one and this one. Oh, sorry, I guess it was magnetic. Then you can remove the cover, and then the actual switch just lifts out. And you can see right here, this is the part that engages on and off with the basket. So I went ahead and put a piece of blue tape on this wire here that says, if you can read it, if it'll focus, it says NO, the top wire in this picture. And now if I can just go ahead and slide these off, might need 2 hands here. So once you slide them off, I did have to use a screwdriver here to kind of pry on it a little bit. It was on there pretty tight. I'm going to go ahead and buy a replacement for this whole switch mechanism. I'm sorry that it won't focus online, but I'll go ahead and drop a link down below for the one I bought, and I'm going to go ahead and buy that right now and go ahead and put it in. So once you get it off, I actually had to use a screwdriver to pry on it a little bit. It was on there pretty firm. This is our whole switch mechanism that we're going to be replacing. I'll go ahead and drop a link down below for the one I bought. So let's go ahead and get it buttoned up and get the new one in. So here's the new switch, and if it'll focus, you can see that it has the same wiring diagram on it, printed onto it. This one, the top right here, it says NC. You can see where they broke it off. So we'll break this one off. It probably doesn't really matter. Actually, it'd be like that, but we're gonna just do it anyways. Might as well make it the same. But first you need to remove these 2 screws that hold it onto the actual bracket here, and we'll put the new one onto that. So as you can see here, the new switch, first off, I want to point out that it makes an audible click when you actually click the button, whereas the old one, it does absolutely nothing. It must be broken off inside. But again, pair of needle nose pliers, the switch, top one, just grab onto it. You should be able to rock it back and forth, or bend it back and forth like this, and it breaks off clean. So once you go ahead and get the new switch swapped over onto its bracket, and again, I already hooked up the wires here. As you can see, the blue wire with the one I put the tape on goes to the top port here, and then the other one goes to the bottom. You can go ahead and install this hold down bracket on top that's going to hold it in place. So once you have the new switch installed and the hold down bracket on, we're going to go ahead and put the base on. And so remember, the cord here is going to go in the back of the unit. So like this. You can kind of see where it goes, and you can kind of feel it lock in once it's in place. And then you're going to go ahead and put all these little tiny Phillips screws back in. Now that all the Phillips screws are in, we're going to go ahead and flip it over, plug it in, and see if it works. Alrighty, here we go. Got it plugged into the workbench. Sure enough, got the audible beep, red lights on. It's good to go. Let's go ahead and see if it works here. Fry up some chicken. That's all it took. Brand new switch. Honestly, you could probably do this in 5-7 minutes if you know what you're doing. Pretty easy. Beats throwing it away and having to go spend another $100-200 on a new air fryer. Let me know if you have any questions on the entire process. Again, this is for a Bella Pro Series air fryer. Let me know.